Urban Dictionary defines cockroaches as a pest bug with an ability to rebound from danger. Similarly, can refer to an annoying human who seems to be indestructible yet annoying to those who do not have the ability to annoy themselves. You could also call them the Cleveland Guardians. This is Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Locked On Guardians. Sorry, I'm trying to quickly update my fantasy team for our fantasy league over here. But
team injury.
Joey Wendell down. What was that in that one game? Casualty. That's what it was. There's your nerd reference today. Casualty. I know I'm not saying it right. Comment below if you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Today's show, to actually get into the show, is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. Over there is Justin. I am Jeff. We want to thank you for making Locked On Guardians your first listen today and every day, wherever it is you get podcasts. And also say, we have your Guardians covered every day at all hours of the day. I was up late, but the Cleveland Guardians team has had some big offensive games and some poor offensive games. I was kind of curious. It is the early going. We're all of 6 games into the season. There are 5 players. I told Justin I was going to ask him a question, but did not tell him what it would be. So he's currently just sitting back there. There are 5 Cleveland Guardians players with an OPS over 800, and then everyone else's is under 700. So it is a big divide right now between the haves and the have-nots on this team. A 2-part question. 1, who has been the worst hitter in the early going? And 2, who are the 5 over 800?
The 5 over 800. Okay. Jose Ramirez is an easy one. He's been pretty good. Andres Jimenez over 800. Josh Naylor's been on fire over 800. Yep. That's 3. Mm-hmm. Mike Zunino probably benefited from that 3 extra base hit games. So that's
currently number 1 is Mike Zunino.
Look at
1.185.
Number 1 in OPS, number 1 in your hearts, and number 365 in blocking. Ooh, yes. 4 aside Zunino, Jose, Naylor, Jimenez, Miles Straw.
It is Miles Straw.
Oh, 825.
He has the second best on base percentage on the team right now.
Miles Straw haters, back off. Back off.
He's got 4 stolen bases already. Like, I'm half tempted to add him for fantasy. Like, he was hot in the first month last year too.
He was.
And Ahmed was hot trash in the first month. So before anyone wants to bury Ahmed, we should point out he was awful this time a year ago. And then he turned it on, and Miles Straw was arguably their second or third best hitter to start the year last year before it fell apart. So we'll see. But Straw is listen, he's not going to keep hitting 313 with a 450 on base. But if he can be just,
I would take a 313 on base. Like 313, yes. I know it's not great, but like I'll take that even.
I mean, 325 is league average. So
that's 40 steals for Straw.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And you put that in the 9 hole with Gold Glove defense. Yeah. Every single day of the week. And again, I'll point out that every year we're seeing BABIP rates kind of rise. I don't think we actually got to talk about this in yesterday's show.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
You were gone.
I was gone.
You were frozen in the gates
when my router decided to just turn off. But his BABIP last year for a guy with his speed was like 240. Like, he is a guy this year, the league average was thinking it's going to be close to 300, and his was about 40 points below his career average. I think there's good reasons for hope in a rebound. That, again, he's not going to keep up this pace. Neither is Mike Zunino, but boy, isn't it fun right now. Hopefully Josh Bell will start figuring things out. It's been a little ugly. He's got the worst slugging on the team. But he is not the worst hitter. Do you know who the worst hitter is?
If it's not Josh Bell, it's Ahmed, right?
No, Ahmed's third worst. Bell is your number 2.
Is it a starter or is it a guy who's come off the bench?
It's a starter. Played 4 games.
It's not Bell. Oh gosh, it's not Oscar, is it?
It is Oscar Gonzalez with a 286. He's got a 143 average, a 143 on base, and a 143 slugging. I've never seen the same average on base and slugging. Like, it is
Average on base for him, not really a
not surprised, but yeah. I mean,
he could hit 280 but 290 OBP.
Yeah, and it's early. So again, I don't want to put too much into this outside of for the negative. It's like, hey, Josh Bell's walking at a high rate. Eventually, hopefully he'll figure it out. Oscar is going to be a streak hitter. When you are so dependent on contact, you're going to have the ups and the downs. And Ahmed's a slow starter. Other than that, it's like Brennan and Arias haven't really had enough. And Quan, I'd like to see a little bit better. He hasn't been quite so a few little defensive miscues as well. He hasn't been quite as sharp in the early going, but I got confidence he's going to turn around. But the top of that lineup, when you consider, we'll get into the game now, but it's like a year ago.
Shout out Will Brennan, by the way. Shout out Will Brennan.
What a throw.
Right, that throw last night was pretty.
I mean, that was a game saver, 100%. Yeah. But a year ago, when they were down 2-3 runs, did you have any confidence that this team was coming back? How about being down 6-2? Would you have expected that?
April and May, absolutely not. No, but by August or September, yes, I was. Even July, they didn't have a great July. They went. Did they go 13-15 in June? No, it was July because I think they had a great June. I could have flip-flopped those.
No, July was like where they lost a bunch of games to the Tigers at the start of the month.
So June was a great month. I think they went 13-15 in July. Yeah. But I was okay. So I was at one of those games against the Tigers where they won, and they were losing late, and I was like, it's over. And I think that was the one where Quan hit that blooper to left field, and it dropped in the Bermuda Triangle, and they came back, and that's where I was like convinced. I was like, this team could win any game. This is just wild. So they are the Cleveland Cockroaches. They literally are. They do not say die.
La cucaracha. I got to stop there before I get in trouble.
Yeah. You don't have the licensing for that. They really are, though. I mean, last night, look, they should have easily beaten this Oakland team. This is a bad lineup, and they were facing a pitcher who, they pissed a bunch of pitchers who just aren't great. They should have won much more last night, but they shouldn't have had those issues they did. But it's baseball; these things happen. It's just great that they were down. They were up early, and then they were down 6-2, and Plesac wasn't good, and Curry came in, pitched well, and every time they give up runs, it was just like they had to come back and they had to score more. And every time I would watch last night, the team running into the dugout after they gave up runs, like nobody on their face looked down. They weren't like, here we go, or we got to figure this out somehow. It was just like going back. It was just like a getting up and going to work on a Monday morning. Like, all right, we're ready. Let's go. And they just keep doing it. And it comes from all different sources. Like Stephen Kwan, of course, comes through. Miles Straw had a good game. Jose Ramirez, of course, does everything. He takes the extra base and he gets
smartest man on the field. Smartest man on the field.
Unfortunately, former Cleveland prospect Connor Capel gave him a little league triple, which, bummer for Connor, but great for the Guardians. So still helping out his former team, right?
Connor Capel is, the other side, but he's only one of 2 Oakland Athletics with an OPS over 800. So, at least he's giving them something. Yeah,
Cleveland's got to do better against Oakland. No. But what's funny is before last year, because I know the stat last night was like the last night was their 6th straight win against Oakland or 6th straight win in Oakland. Before last year, happened. Right, before last year was the first time they played well in Oakland. I remember you have to go back to the 90s for them actually doing well in Oakland. Like every trip to Oakland, you're like, all right, here comes 2 out of 3, and they're going to lose because I don't know if it's the time change, if it's the ballpark, and the A's have had good teams over the years. They've had annoying teams. The A's were, cockroaches for a while too. So they've never played well there. So good to see them go out west and take care of business. And back-to-back extra inning wins. How about 99 too last night? Came out smooth as butter last night. That was important to, or I should say Monday night. Super important to see for him. Tim Herrin, once again, I know we were gonna bring up Tim Herrin later, but Tim Herrin just continues to be allergic to baseball bats. Good for him.
Yeah, it's
friend of the show, Tim Herrin. A lot of friends of the show tonight. Friend of the show, Tim Herrin. Friend of the show, Andre Non. Happy birthday.
Yeah, it's one of those things I think too with number 99 there. It's like the first outing was terrible. We can just say that. The second one was fine. A little more struggles than you'd like, but yesterday he was nails, and that's what you want to see because when he is dealing, and that got really loud there, I apologize, and Stefan is dealing, and Clase is dealing, and we'll talk about Clase more in segment 2, that's as good of a 1-2-3 at the back of a pen as any team in baseball has. Like, that is just 3 guys who miss bats and are headaches. So it's just nice to see 99, out there pitching and doing what he can do. And
The king of double plays is back. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt your positivity for a little negativity. The king of double plays is back. We won't go there. This is a positive segment. Nothing to be negative about.
Like I said, well, hopefully he'll get over his early season struggles. I remember a year ago at this time, I posted the hypothetical trade. Like, who would say no to Ahmed Rosario for Taylor Ward? Like, Taylor Ward's hot right now. Maybe it won't stick, but let's try that trade. And it was funny, all the Cleveland fans telling me no and all the Angels fans telling me no. But part of the reason I said that at the time is because of his struggles. And I don't know, maybe I'm going to give him too much faith that he's going to recover and be fine. But we'll see what happens with Ahmed and here they going. He's a slow starter. Just in terms of like the overall positivity in this one, hitting wise, again, how nice is what Straw does at the bottom of that lineup, creating havoc. Bell, yeah, it's been ugly. But I don't know, Zanino and everything. It's a fun team right now.
They sure are, except for the king of double plays. They are a fun team.
And the defense. The defense is the other part that's not so fun, but hopefully that'll continue to improve.
Let's talk about something more fun. Don't make Ahmed Rosario one of your parlays on FanDuel. How about let's start there with FanDuel. That should not be one of your parlays. I don't have a parlay tonight. You go ahead.
I never have a parlay, but maybe you would like to have a same game parlay. Isn't that what they go? But what I know is the no sweat first bet. Yeah, it's the same game parlay. See, I've done enough of this ad read. I know that's in there. Let you combine your pants. No, let you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. Now that the NBA playoffs are almost here, it's the perfect time to head to FanDuel, America's #1 site, because customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the app. It's safe, secure, and easy to use. Bet over on the Guardians. I don't know if you can still do such things. We'll have some new bets as the season goes on to discuss, but I still think the over is a good one. It might be starting to shift as they've started the year well. Don't miss your chance at the no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Sorry, I shout that at the end.
All right. Little more fun things. A lot less fun things. Zach Plesac and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad start from Monday. Yeah. We're just stealing all kinds of ideas today. Boy, he was bad. 7 swings and misses. Look, Zach Plesac doesn't get a lot of swings and misses to begin with. That's not why he's on the team. But his velocity was slightly down. It was 91. I'm not really, who cares about Zach Plesac's velocity? The fact is, he allowed a lot of balls in play yesterday, and a lot of balls in play were hit hard. Average exit velocity off his fastball, 93.4. Changeup, which is supposed to be his best pitch, 101. Slider, 90.7. So the slowest ball average off the bat against him was 90.7 on Monday. That's
good, right?
Great. It's not what you want out of any starter. No, I don't think it is.
Okay, so everyone has wanted Zach Plesac to fall off a very large bridge for about 6 to 9 months. Now it's the dose of realism. Listen, he is what he is. He is maddeningly inconsistent. He'll probably come out his next game and throw a 3-hitter and be great. Like, he is all over the place. One thing, Cleveland is paying him over $2 million. 2 things, Cleveland slow plays everything to the nth degree. 3 things, they don't make big moves until June, which you talked about on the show a little bit before, my computer crashed. He's here and he's going to stay. And here's the nice thing. If he is trash by the middle of June, they might move him to the pen. By then they'll start considering things, because by the middle of June, you know what happens? Maybe Logan Allen finds his footing in AA, and he is probably the first guy that gets called up, because you have to have him to the 40-man at the end of the year anyways. Maybe, Espino can start getting some starts. Maybe Cantillo is getting some starts down in AA because he's already on the 40-man. You can call him up. Maybe Tanner Bybee just goes out there and jams fastballs down fools' throats so hard that this team has no choice but to call him up in June, a la the guy he keeps getting comped to, Shane Bieber. It's a change can happen, and a change very likely will happen. We thought that here's what they're going to do. They're going to let him go out and pitch. They're going to see if he can recover some value. A year ago at the deadline, I really wanted them to flip him to Philadelphia for Logan O'Hoppe. There was rumor that Philly liked him. Unfortunately, that's now worked out well for Anaheim instead of us. But if he can recover and just look like a back-end starter, that always has value in this league. There's always, I mean, look, the Yankees are pulling guys out of the scrap heap. Justin pitched last week. It didn't go well. Don't look at the exit velocity.
My arm still hurts, man. My arm hurts.
It's not been good. That's why he wasn't here this week. Or the Locked On Now is the pitching for the Yankees. Your other name is Johnny Brito, right? When you're out there.
They made me pay for my in-flight Wi-Fi too, which was really annoying. I had to pay for my Wi-Fi when I flew out there. Cheap guys.
Yeah,
I pitched for nothing, and I still had to pay for my own Wi-Fi and my own soda. This team needs the depth. Like we've talked about it. It's a long season. So I know some people are like, "Wow, Gavin Williams is starting in Double A. What's going on with that?" You just need a lot of innings to cover throughout the organization, and it's early. And look, Plesac may not be good this year. He may be. I don't know. Like it's.
He's going to be Plesac. He's going to be maddeningly inconsistent.
If you're going to base everything off one start, then Aaron Savali is obviously going to win the Cy Young because he pitched better than Shane Bieber his first start. And Bieber pitched well too, but Savali pitched even better. So we're not going to judge things off one start. We know, Plesac's recent track record is pretty rough. Curry's, McKenzie's already hurt. Curry's in the bullpen. Gaddis is in the rotation. The early season depth is already not fantastic. Like Pilkington got whacked around his first start. We're also not going to make sharp judgments about that. But I think the most obvious decision-making path here, the way things unwind, is they wait to see what the prognosis on McKenzie is. Is he going to come back within the time frame? Is this going to linger? How do they feel about his recovery? If he is on a normal progression as far as when he's going to be back, they'll hang on to Plesac until then. They'll make a decision on if he stinks until McKenzie comes back, then I think he's going to get replaced. And if he's up and down, we'll see. If McKenzie's going to be out longer, if that's the problem here, if McKenzie's out longer, you got two decisions to make. You run with Hunter Gaddis that long, and if Plesac continues not to pitch well, you might have to make two decisions there. That's the crux of the whole thing, I think, is McKenzie's health, not necessarily how Plesac's pitching, because you're going to need some experienced starters early on to cover some innings while he is out. So they might have been able to have a shorter leash on Plesac if McKenzie was healthy and he was not. I don't know. Am I wrong for thinking maybe those things maybe are tied together a little bit?
No, it's a good point. I think it's one of those things where, they're going to want a few people they feel like they can trust. And as much as fans don't trust Plesac, it's, the devil, right? Like he is known in that team. He has been with his team for 4 years now. Tito is comfortable.
Can I point out that I used that phrase like last year at dinner once with my fiance, and she had never heard that phrase before, and she thought I just made that up, like it wasn't a thing.
Oh, much like 90% of the phrases I say on this podcast.
Yeah, keeping the powder dry. I hadn't heard that before you either, so that's fair.
No, I do want to throw in real quickly though, completely off topic. One, Miles Straw with another hit tonight, so now a 476 on base percentage, and all I did was crap on Estuary Ruiz. So the last 2 days, he's had his best 2 games of the season. Was your double play reference into Ahmed hitting into one in this game? Was that? It's unfortunate. We'll see how this goes, but Cleveland's already down 2-0 right now because the bottom of the lineup.
Look, obviously they can come back. We've already talked about this team. They're never say die. We're not concerned. I have seen some people on Twitter express some concern over Emmanuel Clase's early season velocity. So last year he averaged 99.5 on his cutter, 99.9 on his four seam, although he only threw 24 seams last year, so that seems irrelevant. But anyway, 99.5. By month, last year he was at the end of 2022, he was still throwing 99.1. This year it's 97.9. So, he's down a mile and a half early on. I don't know. Last night's blown save notwithstanding, because that happens, and
it's cold.
It's cold. It shouldn't happen to Oakland. I mean, it's one game. These are, you're going to blow games against Oakland. You're going to blow games against the Phillies or Boston. I don't know, but you just blow it when you blow it, and you don't have it that night. I'm not super concerned about it early on, and up until last night, he had been untouchable. So I don't know. Maybe it's the pitch clock too. Like he was one of the slower guys in terms of pace.
Yeah, slower than 99, wasn't he?
He was. Well, they were like 1A and 1B. It was super close, but this could be a thing. Like this could be a thing where the pace, where he is not allowed, because that is how guys have gained. Why the game has slowed down a little bit too is because guys are taking a lot longer between pitches, because it allows relievers to go out there and give 110%, effort between pitches. So if his velocity is down a little bit because of not being able to have, I think 19 or 21, I think it was 22 seconds between pitches. If it's 97.9, it's still going to be elite. Like if it was a decline due to injury or inning, which is probably eventually going to happen because of the way Cleveland uses their relievers, and how relievers just go, unless you're a freak of nature, which he could be. But this could be related to pace. We'll see. I'm not concerned about it now. As I'm not concerned about it from the fact of an injury standpoint or a usage standpoint yet. I just think it might be related to the pace and how long he took between pitches previously.
Just something to kind of put on this, having done this podcast every day for almost 4 years now, a lot of things stick in your head. And this time a year ago, at the first month of the year, there were concerns. I remember seeing them in the comments, like, why is there so much contact to his pitching? Why is he, and his, it's essentially when things warmed up, he got better. And I know people are going to be like, you can't keep using this excuse. You used it for a med, but like the data on both of them show that these are guys who do not play well when it's cold. And yeah, that's not ideal for when, they get in the postseason, but then they've also got the full season behind them. They're kind of physically warmed up. Clase was fine in the postseason. Ahmed was fine in the postseason. So I think right now, it's not great, but I'm not going to freak out because we, again, have a track record of him being a bit of a slow starter. And we'll see if, he was untouchable when things got hot. And I think he'll be fine. I think he will warm up and we'll have a very productive, I'm just going to say it, the Mariano Rivera of this generation. I said it.
And his stuff at 98, if it's not 100, if it's not 99 and 101, 97 to 99 is still going to play with his stuff anyway. So.
Yeah. Speaking of playing, you know what I like to play with? That's Ultimate GM. I said Ultimate Pro Baseball GM. It is our new sponsor. Again, what was fun when I found out that they were our brand new sponsor is the fact that I had bought all of their games. I had enough fun with the baseball, with the football, with the basketball. I wish they made a hockey one. I would get that as well. And then actually lose games unlike the Blue Jackets. Sorry, bitterness. But proper rebuilds, please, for generational talents. But enough about that. That is a good approach. By the way, people want to know what you do. Go in, sell off everyone who's making money, build up your money, avoid free agents, Cleveland Guardians approach. Though once you start building things up and improving your infrastructure, then you start keeping your own guys. But I have a lot of fun with this. I've completed 225 seasons, 25 years runs through this game, and I'll do it again. It is so much fun. Check it out for yourself. You want to you can get it in any app store, Ultimate Pro Baseball GM. And you want to remember that our promo code LOCKED on, all capital, to get a 100% free boost. I can only get that in my first run. I will tell you, if you do multiple seasons, it only works once. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it a second time, but I used it. You should use that. That's locked on to get a free boost. It also helps us out, makes us look good. So it's a free app, so you can download it, put the boost in, and help us out in that way. But go check it out. I have a lot of fun with it.
You look good for 50.
Yeah, you should see my OOTP, or maybe you shouldn't. Again, I love Pro Baseball GM because the nice thing, we're past this. Like with this, it's quick and go. With OOTP, I've put in hundreds of hours. It's bad, but then I feel good sometimes before people are like, but it's because I see a lot of guys who've gotten hired by organizations, and they're like, yeah, no, I've done the same thing.
I lied to people yesterday too. I said, "Oh, Jeff is so good," because I did the ad read yesterday. I said, "Jeff is so good. He didn't need the boost, but you should use the boost." So I guess I lied.
I didn't need it in the second run, and I only got 2 World Series victories, but I did get an MVP in that one. It's hard at the start. It is hard at the start. Like, you're going to fail. Like, that's just part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I like those sports games. I like those simulations. That's fun for me. But yeah. Speaking of things that are fun, I think what Lake County is doing is absolutely amazing. I already had kind of one nerd reference in this show, or the casualty. But they are installing at Classic Park, the Classic Arcade Suite. And yes, it is the 80s Classic Arcade Suite, and most of the games they showed are from the 90s. But that's because they're putting in awesome games. Like, don't get annoyed that they're putting in saying it's an 80s suite and putting in 90s era games, and you get X-Men, NBA Jam, and Mortal Kombat. Listen, I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I'm going to do a quick turn off the camera light here so I don't blind everyone. But it's like, there is my arcade cabinet right there. Like, of course I would love this. I got my Ninja Turtles one right there. This is great. I was joking that Justin and I should talk with them and see if because at the end of July, I will be back in town. That's when I'm going to make my trip back, see my dad, my mom, friends and family. My best friend I know would take part in this. Brian Sikowski at Perfect Game and Burke Ranger at D1 Baseball said they'd be in for it. I feel like we should do a Cleveland Guardians night or a Lockdown Guardians night at Classic Park, rent out the suite and just split that like 20-25 ways or something. Figure out what the cost is, split it multiple ways, and just rent it out, watch some prospects, and play video games.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about when you're home and captains are home that weekend.
We can figure it out, if it's how we can make this work. But yeah, it would be awesome in some ways to record a podcast from that space. But I think it's a super cool idea. This new ownership group is doing fun things. Let's just be honest. They are doing fun things.
They're a lot of fun. I'll see them tomorrow night. Hopefully they're supposed to have, or tonight, as you're listening to this, they're supposed to have a sim game and batting practice and a media night. We'll see. The weather in Northeast Ohio on Wednesday looks pretty Northeast Ohio like. So it might just be media day if they're still having it. We'll see though. I'll see if I can get a look at it tomorrow.
Get some more info. But yeah, I don't know. It's such a fun idea. Go check it out. You can see it up on their webpage. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely need to split it with like 20 plus people just so we can help bring down that cost. But it's
come hang out with us though. We'll do a live podcast. We'll
who would do
play
that?
some games. We'll watch some baseball. I'm sure
essentially all willing to chip in. Like, with fees, it's probably gonna be something like $60 a person. But just everyone pays for their own thing, and then we rent it out, talk baseball, watch some prospects. People can destroy me at Mortal Kombat. I was never good at that, but I'll be hanging out on the X-Men.
Arias just tied the game with his first home run of the season.
Nice. Gabriel Arias. I thought he was going to, I remember when they acquired him in that ill-fated Mike Clevenger trade where everyone complained. Now, you remember the thing about the Clevenger deal and the Lindor trade, they didn't get one top 100 prospect in those trades. Those are terrible. They didn't get one top 100 prospect. They traded 2 all-stars, didn't get a single top 100 prospect. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Like,
so it was the same with the Clevenger trade. Oh, not even a top 100. Well, Arias eventually did make top 100s.
He only made Baseball Prospectus that year because he had like kind of the late. But I mean, yeah, Clevenger and Lindor. Both people were saying that they traded 2 all-stars, 3 with Carrasco, and they got no top 100 prospects. I'm like, well, at points Naylor was, and I'm like, at points Andres Jimenez and Ahmed Rosario were top 10 prospects in all of baseball. So it's kind of disingenuous, but that was when people like to bash this front office. Like that's what, like, I understand if you're frustrated about the spending, this front office is pretty much untouchable. Just gonna say it.
I would agree. Yeah. It's that's why they get hired everywhere else. And what do we say? They were down 2-0 a few minutes ago. We were talking and we are like, they'll come back. They've already come back. And obviously, the outcome for Gabriel Arias, like we all predicted, was power hitting first baseman. That was what we all thought he would be when he came back.
Plus power was the best offensive tool, for being fair. Like that was probably,
Yeah, that's true.
Not first base, but definitely plus power.
Hey, whatever works. Super excited about the home opener this year. The Guardians will do in memory of John Adams. They'll do JA patch with drum mallets on the home opener. That's going to be really cool.
It looks really good. That patch, like I would buy a shirt with that patch on it.
I would too. And I know he has a scholarship too they run. So it'd be cool if you could buy that and
yes,
contribute to the scholarship. Travis Kelce, Cleveland Heights native and Super Bowl winner, will throw out the first pitch to his mom, Donna. That's exciting. I guess either way, they had a Super Bowl winner. They could have had to throw out the first pitch between him and his
I wonder
brother.
if Jason will just show up too. Like, would he like
might as well, right?
I mean, aren't they're Cleveland fans anyways?
They are, yeah. They got their In the Heights podcast. Yeah, good for them. And Travis Kelce is a good time. He never disappoints. So I'm sure he'll have the crowd riled up for the home opener. The weather's looking pretty decent. I'll be there. I'll be at the home opener. Let me know. I am scheduled as of right now to be on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show this coming Friday before the home opener, about 12:30. So if you are a fan of our one of our sister shows, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, check that out on Friday. I will be on at 12:30 with Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, and the whole cast.
Yeah, real quickly, fun things with this is new food items. This is always one of my favorite things. So I'm just going to quickly do the list here. Pepper Jack Bites. That sounds amazing at Right Field District. Melt Buffalo Chicken Mac and Cheese Bowl, Right Field District. Pimento Cheese and Bacon Burger, Left Field. Hot Honey Chicken Tenders, served at Fat Rooster under Left Field. Crab Rangoon Nachos. Now that's the one I want to try the most. That's the one in Right Field. That's the one I'd want to get. Mac and cheese brisket, third baseline concourse. The Wild Thing, a field roast dog that's vegan. It's a vegan hot dog with vegetable chili is the Wild Thing. That's third base. And the Noodle Bowl is down the third baseline. In terms of drinks, Fatheads, the Brew Kettle, Cutwater Spirits, and Masthead are all new. So I'm a big fan of crazy food. I made myself very sick at my first Brewers game by buying a helmet full of nachos and then proceeding to eat the whole thing. And I didn't get physically sick, but I just, that feeling when you've eaten a helmet full of nachos, it's not a good feeling. Your body is not happy with you. I don't recommend it.
I love Crab Rangoon, so I will be absolutely trying those.
I want to report. I love Crab Rangoon as well. Hey, something else we agree on, apparently food. So I think I'll look forward to hearing how that is for you. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be exciting.
Day game on Wednesday, thankfully. So when you listen to Thursday's podcast, you will actually be able to hear us talk about a full game. I know we kind of covered most of Monday's game, or Tuesday's game, but no, Monday's game. My days are really thrown off this week, unfortunately.
So we'll have we'll cover the game for Thursday on Wednesday's game, and then Friday we're going to go deep on the college stuff. We're going to talk
college, minor leagues.
Everybody's go kind of prospect talk. Unless there's some kind of news that supersedes that, but I don't know.
Everybody's in action on Thursday. Columbus, Akron, Lake County, Lynchburg, and our guy Tanner Bybee is starting on Thursday night. So there you go.
So we'll probably both.
His one only start as a Columbus Clipper right now.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not predicting that.
I'm gonna try and play it. We just never know how my internet's gonna hold up. So if it crashes, then I won't try and watch Tanner. But I'm gonna try to pull that one up to watch it, not stream. Later, but yeah, it's gonna be fun, and college baseball. I'm gonna have some takes because my goodness, this class, it's a class. Let's put it that. I'm gonna have guys at 23 that have a similar score to Chase DeLauder, who I had 12 a year ago. So just know that. So we're gonna have some fun.
It's gonna be a fun summer.
Yeah, it's so many things to discuss. A fun team.
Stick with
Gabby Arias just going deep. Sorry, I'm like it's. Put me at a loss for words. It's like you get a bit down and then you get that the perfect answer to your platoon. Even if I would prefer if again Naylor maybe had the day off. No offense to him, but
he's hitting great though early in the season. So let's see how long he can ride it for. And he's hitting, Bella's not. So you know what? Ride that until you can't.
And he got the RBI there, which to a subset is the most important thing. But again. It's you're picking nits because this team has been so good and so fun. You got to keep beating up on Oakland because Oakland is terrible. Thank you all for watching. Remember to rate and review, download. It helps. We got a lot of things to talk about in the comments, so always do that. Watch, play. All the things. The things. Click the bell, subscribe, comment. Tell a friend, subscribe on a grandparent's computer. They won't know any different. I'm kidding, but they won't know any different. Thank you again for watching. And as always, go Guardians, go.
Let's go.